Have you ever stepped into a place and before anyone said a single word, you felt it? That strange pressure in the air, that invisible weight you couldn't explain, as if something unseen was watching you. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and in that silent moment your spirit whispered, "Something's not right here"? For years, you may have believed you were simply too emotional, too sensitive, too fragile for this world. But what if I told you that what you've been calling sensitivity is actually a sacred frequency tuned to heaven itself? That what others call overreacting is, in truth, divine perception, the gift of discerning spirits, one of the rarest and most powerful spiritual gifts mentioned in 1 Corinthians 12. This is not intuition. This is not coincidence. This is the whisper of God guiding you through realms unseen. Because those chosen by Him, the ones who walk between the visible and the invisible, carry a radar that detects what the natural eye cannot perceive. A spiritual compass that feels truth, detects deception, and senses light or darkness before it manifests. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are awake. And the moment you understand what this gift truly means, everything about your past, your pain, your loneliness, your silence, will begin to make perfect sense. In this message, I'll reveal the 7 hidden signs that confirm you were chosen to carry this sacred ability. Each one will open your eyes to things you've always felt but never could explain. But before we begin, take this as your sign. If your spirit has been resonating since the very first line, it means you were meant to hear this today. So do this now. Like this video to agree with heaven's confirmation. Subscribe if your spirit knows this message is part of your awakening. And comment 99 below, because 99 represents double completion, the alignment of heaven and earth, the signal that your spiritual activation has begun. Are you ready? Let's begin the unveiling. Sign 1. You feel spiritual atmospheres before seeing them. There are moments when you step into a place and everything looks normal, but your body tells a different story. Your chest tightens, the air feels heavier. It's like the atmosphere itself shifts, whispering warnings your mind can't yet explain. That isn't fear. That isn't anxiety. That's your spirit tuning into a frequency others can't hear. You were designed to detect the unseen. Before the storm, you feel the pressure. Before deception speaks, you sense the distortion. You walk through spaces with an invisible awareness, because heaven placed within you a sensor that never sleeps. It's not your imagination, so it's discernment in motion. Your body reacts before your thoughts do because your spirit operates faster than logic. You can sense when peace fills a room, and you can feel when darkness lingers in the corners. Others see furniture, you sense energy. Others see smiles, and you feel motives. That is how God protects His chosen. He doesn't always send words. Sometimes He sends sensations, a sudden chill, a pulse of heat, a weight behind your shoulders that makes you want to leave without reason. The moment you try to ignore it, the unease grows, until you finally listen. Because your spirit isn't warning you to scare you. It's alerting you to guard something sacred, your peace. This sensitivity is not weakness, it's assignment. You are a guardian of spiritual atmospheres. When you enter a room, heaven reads it through you. That's why chaos feels louder to you. That's why crowded places drain you. Your presence shifts energies because your soul carries divine alignment, and darkness can't hide where light walks in. You weren't called to adapt to environments. You were called to discern them. And here's the mystery. Sometimes the weight you feel doesn't belong to the place, but to the people in it. Sometimes your discomfort isn't a signal to run, but a call to intercede. Because the moment you sense it, a silent battle begins between what's holy and what's hidden. Your awareness becomes a weapon, your stillness becomes armor, and your breath itself becomes prayer. You don't just walk into rooms. You scan realms. Every step you take is prophetic surveillance. Every reaction you feel is divine intelligence moving through your body. The question is, will you keep dismissing these signals as random emotions, or will you finally recognize them for what they are? Heaven's alert system inside of you. Because once you start listening to that inner alarm, you'll realize it's been trying to protect you from things you couldn't even see coming. And this is only the first sign. Wait until you discover what happens when this same sensitivity starts reading people, not just places. That's when the real revelation begins. Sign 2. You perceive people's true intentions. There's a moment. It always happens. When someone walks toward you smiling, their words smooth, their energy bright, but something deep inside you tightens. You can't explain it. It's like your soul whispers, "Be careful." That quiet tug in your chest, that uneasy silence after a friendly gesture. It's not judgment. It's not mistrust. It's divine discernment activating. God wired your spirit to read what the mouth can hide. You don't read faces. You read frequencies. You feel the vibration behind the voice, the temperature of a soul hiding behind politeness, and every time, the pattern repeats. You sense something's off. You doubt yourself. You try to stay logical. But later, the truth unfolds exactly as your spirit warned. Every single time. Because discernment is heaven's truth detector. It cuts through smiles, titles, and charisma like a sword of light. It exposes deception before it touches you. And while others fall for appearance, you perceive essence. That's why people sometimes feel uneasy around you. Their spirits recognize that yours sees. Your eyes may be silent, but your spirit is not. It listens between the words. It feels when someone's heart says one thing and their lips say another. You can sense hidden envy inside a compliment, pride disguised as humility, or false kindness meant to manipulate. And when you do, it shakes you, because part of you wants to believe the best in everyone. But your spirit refuses to be fooled. It's not coldness, it's clarity. That's why the chosen often walk lonely paths. Because once your discernment awakens, you no longer connect by appearances. You connect by truth. And truth can be isolating. But here's the paradox. The very gift that separates you will also protect you. It will pull you away from counterfeits before they destroy your peace. It will keep you from forming ties that were never meant to hold you. Sometimes, your spirit will reject someone long before your mind has a reason. That sudden discomfort is not arrogance. It's divine intelligence recognizing an agenda. It's heaven whispering, "Don't get attached here." But there's a deeper mystery. This gift doesn't only reveal what's wrong. It also identifies what's pure. You can instantly recognize sincerity, humility, and goodness without words. You feel safe with people who carry light, because your spirit knows its own kind. You're not paranoid. You're prophetic. You were not meant to blend in with blindness. You were meant to see. And when your eyes of the spirit open, the world will never look the same again. Every conversation becomes a map. Every silence becomes a revelation. Every glance, a message from the invisible. But this clarity comes with weight. Because when you can see people's hearts, you can also feel their pain. And soon, you'll realize that discernment is not just about protection, it's about intercession. About carrying what others can't, and that leads to the next revelation. One that happens not in your mind, but inside your body. Sign 3. Your body reacts to spiritual energy. There are moments when your spirit speaks louder than your voice, and it does so through your body. You're sitting in peace, and suddenly a wave of heaviness floods your chest. Your heartbeat shifts. A strange pressure forms in your head. Or maybe you walk into a place and feel your strength drained for no reason. You've told yourself it's stress, fatigue, overthinking, but deep down, you know it's something else. What you feel isn't random. It's spiritual transmission. Your body is not failing you. It's translating the invisible. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned. God designed you as a spiritual instrument that detects frequencies beyond sight or sound. When you sense heaviness, chills, or sudden unease, your spirit is reading an atmosphere before your logic can process it. That shiver that crawls up your spine, that's your inner radar, alerting you that something unseen is standing near. That headache that strikes out of nowhere. It's not coincidence. It's spiritual interference brushing against your anointing. Your body doesn't lie. It reacts to realms that eyes can't perceive. You see, when light and darkness collide, the human body becomes a battlefield of energies. Those chosen by God often carry such high spiritual voltage that when they enter corrupted spaces, their system shakes. The Spirit warns, something here doesn't align. And if you ignore it, your body suffers. Exhaustion, nausea, migraines, anxiety without reason. But the moment you leave that space, peace returns. That's not magic. That's spiritual detection. The world taught you to silence your body. Heaven teaches you to listen. Because discernment doesn't always come as visions or voices. Sometimes it comes as pressure on your shoulders, heat in your palms, a knot in your stomach. Your body becomes prophecy in motion. communicating what words can't. And when you learn to read its signals, you start walking with divine precision. You'll know when to stay, when to leave, when to pray, when to speak, and when to be still. God never intended your sensitivity to punish you. It's protection. It's how heaven says, don't touch that. Don't trust that. Don't enter there. What the world calls overreaction is your spiritual alarm screaming for attention. And every time you honor it, you align with divine timing. But here's the revelation. The same body that warns you of danger also reacts to the presence of God. Have you ever felt chills in worship? A surge of warmth during prayer? Tears for no reason when truth was spoken? That's your body resonating with the Holy Spirit, heaven's frequency vibrating through flesh. It's proof that you are both spirit and vessel, connected to both earth and eternity. So don't curse your sensitivity. Refine it, protect it, train it. Because what feels like weakness is actually your divine navigation system awakening. Every pulse, every tremor, every unexplained ache, all of it means your spirit is alive and listening. And when your body becomes this attuned, what happens next is even deeper. Because soon you'll realize that the messages you receive while awake will begin to visit you in your sleep. And that's when the veil between worlds becomes almost transparent. Sign 4. You experience prophetic dreams and visions. There are nights when sleep doesn't feel like rest. It feels like revelation. You close your eyes and the ordinary world fades, replaced by scenes that feel too real to be dreams. Faces appear. Words echo. Doors open and close in perfect rhythm with your heartbeat. You wake up sweating, heart racing, unable to explain what you just saw. Yet days or weeks later, everything happens exactly as it did in that vision. You see, that's not imagination. That's not random. That's divine communication unfolding through the realm of dreams. Because when God cannot reach you through noise, He speaks in symbols. For those chosen by Him, the night is not empty, it's sacred. It becomes the canvas where heaven paints what's to come. Your dreams are not illusions. They are encrypted messages from the Spirit, warning, guiding, preparing you for things your mind could never anticipate. Like Joseph, Daniel, and John, you've been entrusted with prophetic sight, the ability to see before others understand, to sense before others react. That's why you wake up remembering faces that reappear, voices that feel familiar, or moments that play out with eerie precision. Heaven doesn't waste imagery. Every detail holds a message. Sometimes the dreams feel heavy. Wars, storms, people crying out. Other times, they feel radiant. Light pouring through clouds, a voice calling your name, a scroll unfolding before your eyes. Don't dismiss it. These are divine codes. Each vision is training your spirit to recognize God's voice in the dark. Your dreams are not entertainment. They are assignments. You are being taught to translate the language of heaven into the choices you make on earth. And if you've ever woken up at 3:33 a.m., trembling but calm, it's because your spirit was active while your body slept. You were walking in realms most never touch, standing in spiritual courts, interceding for lives, breaking chains before the morning even arrived. That's why you sometimes wake up tired. You weren't sleeping, you were serving. You were fighting invisible battles on behalf of others without even knowing it. God gives prophetic sight to those He can trust with silence. That's why your dreams often feel secret, too sacred to explain, too strange to share. Because they are not for validation, they are for preparation. What you see in the night equips you for what you'll face in the day. And every time you honor those dreams, write them down, pray over them, seek their meaning, your spiritual clarity sharpens. You start recognizing patterns. You begin to anticipate divine timing. You stop fearing the unknown because heaven already showed it to you. The danger comes when you ignore them. When you tell yourself, it's just a dream. Because heaven will not shout when it once whispered. Every vision you disregard is a direction delayed. Every dream you forget is a message postponed. But the moment you start paying attention, the connection strengthens. Your nights become classrooms, your mornings revelations. And maybe, just maybe, you've already dreamed something about what's coming next in your life. A place, a voice, a door, an ending. The feeling won't leave you. The image keeps returning. That's not memory. That's a prophecy. And soon, you'll understand why it keeps chasing you, because what visits you in the night is not haunting you, it's calling you. Sign 5. You absorb others' emotions and feel drained. There are moments when you leave a conversation and feel like the air's been pulled out of your lungs. The person seemed kind, the topic was simple, but inside you, something feels emptied. Your shoulders ache, your mood drops, and your spirit feels like it's carrying a storm that isn't even yours. That's not emotional weakness. That's spiritual transfer. You're not just listening to people, you're receiving them. Their pain, their fears, their anger, their hidden exhaustion. It all clings to your aura like invisible smoke. You absorb it because you were built to feel beyond words. But God never intended you to keep what you absorb. You were meant to discern it, not carry it. Your sensitivity is sacred, but it's also dangerous when unguarded. Every soul you encounter releases a frequency, some harmonious, others chaotic. And your spirit, being finely tuned, catches them all. That's why certain people drain you, even when they smile. That's why your body tenses when someone begins to vent. You feel their chaos move through you, searching for a place to rest. But you were not created to be a container for everyone's darkness. You were created to be a mirror that reflects it back to light. God designed you with empathy as armor, not as a wound. You feel deeply because you were meant to recognize suffering, not drown in it. But the chosen often forget this. They carry others' pain until it becomes their own, mistaking compassion for captivity. That's when fatigue sets in, when joy fades without reason, when you crave isolation just to breathe again. Yet even that solitude is holy. It's heaven pulling you aside to cleanse your spirit, to remind you that you must release what's not yours. After every encounter, your energy field bears imprints, some light, some heavy. That's why prayer is not a ritual for you, it's survival. It's spiritual detox. When you pray, you flush away what your discernment collected throughout the day. You don't pray just to ask, you pray to reset. Because without that release, your gift turns into weight. And when the weight grows, even your calling starts to feel like a curse. But remember, the more light you carry, the more shadows you attract. And that's why purification isn't optional, it's armor. Maintenance. The world may call you too sensitive, but heaven calls you an absorber of frequencies. You were entrusted with divine empathy, an awareness that senses emotional truth where logic fails. That's why people feel comfortable opening up to you, even strangers. They sense safety in your presence because your spirit listens before your mouth speaks. But here lies the hidden lesson. Not every soul that reaches for your light deserves to dwell in it. Discern who comes to heal and who comes to drain, because empathy without boundaries becomes bondage. And the chosen cannot afford to be bound. When your energy feels heavy, when you carry emotions that don't belong to you, step away, breathe, and say, I release what is not mine. These words are not empty. They are warfare. They command your spirit to let go of burdens disguised as kindness. And perhaps you've already felt this tug of exhaustion growing stronger lately. It's not random. It's a sign that your gift is expanding. Your spirit's sensitivity is reaching new levels. But what happens when that sensitivity doesn't just detect emotion, but begins to hear the cry behind the silence? When your soul starts sensing the spiritual chains others hide behind calm faces, that is where discernment becomes something far deeper. Something that no longer reads emotion, but exposes oppression itself. Sign 6. You sense invisible conflicts and oppressions. There are moments when someone steps into your presence, and without a word, your entire atmosphere shifts. The room feels smaller. The light seems different. Your spirit tenses like a soldier sensing movement in the dark. Not because that person is evil, but because something attached to them is. You're not reacting to their personality. You're reacting to what's pressing on their soul. This is where your discernment transcends emotion. It begins to pick up the tremors of spiritual warfare before they even reach the surface. You see, there are battles raging behind the eyes of people. Invisible storms hidden behind polite smiles and quiet voices. And somehow you feel it. You sense oppression before it speaks. You hear the scream that never leaves their throat. That strange heaviness that falls when they walk in. It's the echo of a spirit in bondage, and your spirit knows it. Because the same light that exposes darkness in others first burned through the darkness inside of you. That's why you recognize it, not through judgment, but through empathy sharpened by pain. God places sentinels on earth, those who walk unseen, guarding spaces, perceiving what others deny. You are one of them. When you sense tension for no reason, when you feel anger that isn't yours, when the air thickens around someone, that's your spirit detecting interference. Heaven equipped you to pick up early warnings before warfare becomes visible. You're not paranoid, you're positioned. You're the first to feel the tremor before the quake, the shift before the storm. Because light always detects distortion first, but with great sight comes great responsibility. Discernment without wisdom can become torment. You can't fight every battle you sense. Some you are meant to pray through, not step into. That's why God trains your emotions to stay calm in the face of oppression. Your stillness isn't weakness, it's strategy. When darkness presses, you don't panic, you observe. You intercede silently, releasing light into atmospheres that don't even know they've been invaded. Sometimes you'll meet someone whose eyes seem lost, whose words feel heavy, whose presence drains you, yet deep within them, your spirit hears a cry for freedom. And that's when your calling activates. You're not there by accident. God sent you as an undercover warrior to bring light where darkness thought it ruled. You don't need to shout. You don't need to confront. Your very presence disrupts demonic frequency. That's why some people avoid you. Not because you did anything wrong, but because their darkness recognizes your light. And the more this happens, the more you'll notice it. That invisible tension that rises when truth meets deception. Sometimes you'll feel it in a handshake, sometimes in a hug, sometimes across a crowded room. Your spirit will whisper, something here needs breaking. It's not fear, it's divine intelligence going to work. Heaven is using your awareness as a weapon, your peace as pressure against the unseen. But here lies the revelation most never see. The same discernment that detects warfare around others will soon turn inward, revealing how your own wounds attract or repel certain energies. Because before God allows you to expose oppression around you, He will teach you to confront the ones that still linger within you. And when that process begins, the battle will no longer be out there. It will be inside the temple of your own soul. Sign 7. You've endured silent battles that trained your spirit. There's a reason your soul has always felt older than your years. You didn't just survive pain, you were forged by it. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment of isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. While others slept in comfort, you were awake in warfare. While others laughed without burden, you carried invisible weights that no one could see. But those battles, the ones that left you crying quietly in the dark, were sacred training grounds. Because only those who have walked through shadow learn how to discern where the light truly dwells. Your pain wasn't random. Every rejection carved spiritual depth into your being. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every tear rewired your eyes to see differently. You learned to read silence, to detect lies hidden beneath politeness, to sense danger masked as kindness. Not because you wanted to, but because you had to. The fire you endured didn't destroy you. It refined your gift until it could cut through the fog of deception with surgical precision. That's why your intuition feels supernatural. It is. It's the residue of your survival. God hid you on purpose. While others were being seen, you were being shaped. While others sought spotlight, you were being sanctified in solitude. He allowed people to misunderstand you, to leave you, to label you strange, not to humiliate you, but to protect what was sacred. You were too valuable to be exposed too early. So He placed you in silence, refining you in loneliness until your discernment became a weapon, not a wound. Because light born from pain burns differently. It carries authority. Every scar you carry glows with wisdom. Every night you thought would break you only made your spirit more alert. The rejection you thought would destroy you actually detached you from illusions. The heartbreak that once crushed you opened your discernment to sense truth before it's spoken. You became a spiritual warrior disguised as a gentle soul. That's why people come to you for comfort without knowing why. They feel the authority of someone who has seen darkness and lived to tell about it. You were wounded so that you could recognize wounds in others. That's why you can look into someone's eyes and know their pain before they speak. Your empathy is prophetic, your compassion divine. The world calls it being too deep. Heaven calls it being ready. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to feel through. to bring healing through understanding and revelation through endurance. And now, your spirit carries the memory of every war it's won. You no longer flinch at darkness. You've seen worse and still kept your light. You no longer panic in storms. You've learned to worship in the rain. You've endured what would have broken most, because God was teaching you how to stand inside fire without burning. But here's the most powerful truth. The fire didn't just purify you. It activated you. Every battle, every silence, every tear was an initiation into divine sight. You are no longer reacting to darkness. You're commanding it to move. And what comes next will prove that everything you endured was not in vain, because pain was never your enemy. It was the language heaven used to awaken your purpose. Now you see it. You were never broken, never too sensitive, never lost. You were chosen. Every strange moment, every spiritual whisper, every tear that burned without reason, all of it was your training. Heaven has been shaping you in silence, refining you in shadows, preparing you to step into light. The heaviness you've carried for years was not a curse. It was an anointing in disguise. The pressure you feel is proof of purpose. The pain you endured was proof of calling. And the fact that you are still standing here, listening to this right now, means your activation has begun. You were born for a time like this. The same God who marked you in secret is now revealing you in power. You've been hidden long enough. The world needs what heaven planted inside you. That rare ability to sense what others ignore, to guard what others discard, to see what others call impossible. You are not ordinary. You are a bridge between worlds, between the seen and the unseen, the human and the divine, the broken and the healed. Your life is not random. It's a message written by God Himself. And now, the seal is breaking. This is the moment where your discernment stops feeling like a burden and starts becoming your weapon. You are awakening into authority. Your silence is no longer weakness. It's sacred calibration. Your empathy is no longer pain. It's divine intelligence. From now on, every room you enter will shift. Every atmosphere will recognize your light. And every shadow that once intimidated you will tremble, because you finally know who you are. You are not here to hide your light. You are here to expose darkness with grace. You are not here to survive. You are here to see, speak, and set free. You are the evidence that God still whispers secrets to those who listen. The world may not understand you, but heaven applauds you. So right now, with boldness, declare it in the comments below. I have this gift. And it's awakening, because every time you speak it, the veil thins. Every time you write it, heaven agrees. Every time you claim it, your light intensifies. This isn't just a message, it's your confirmation. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were summoned. The call was sent long ago and your spirit answered. The awakening has begun. The veil is lifting. The gift is alive. And the world will never be the same after you step into what God placed inside you. You are chosen. You are awakened. You are unstoppable.